world of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix. Hello, everybody. It's the DC Comics Review Show number 163, if I remember my numbers right. It's the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes. It's Rob here, and joining me, as always, is my wonderful co host, Josh.
Howdy, howdy. We're not skipping Brandon. Brandon will be in later. Hey,
Yeah.
Rob, did you hear that Toei is doing a crossover with Dragon Ball? Their
Your
first
dad joke messed up. Toei
their
owns Dragon Ball.
what's that?
Toei owns Dragon
Oh,
Ball.
well, sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, that was my
That
inner...
Super Sentai was going to be doing a crossover with Dragon Ball. It's going to be called Kamehameha Rider. You're welcome. All right. Let me try again. What do Jason Todd and a drunk bird have in common?
Nothing.
They've both spent too much time with the crowbar. Oh, you're welcome.
God damn. And I thought I was having a hard day. You just made it worse.
Would have been better if I would have known the Super Sentai thing.
Yeah.
And
I was
think
wondering
still
what you were asking in chat, how to pronounce Toei.
Well, that was why.
Yeah. Yeah, so Brandon will be here a little bit later. He's having some transit trouble. I know how that goes. I face it every single day because my hometown's transit system rocks.
GTO's transit system is better than a lot of places here in the States, let me tell you. It stinks. You have to memorize the whole flippin' city. The whole flippin' city if you want to be able to get around on a bus. At least in my experience. It's like ridiculously difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
No, it's not.
All right, well, for those of y'all paying attention out there and saw the week's releases for DC, two things will become apparent. One, we survived. We made it. We're out of the night terrors.
Woohoo!
It's done, finito, gone, and we're back to our regularly scheduled comics.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And to make up for that 2-month break, the second thing you might have noticed is the sheer volume of releases this week. There's 3 new number ones. So we're covering a lot of books this week, down to the point that out of the 11 releases, only 2 are on honorable mentions.
Yeah, which is crazy, but also necessary.
Exactly, because we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, which we will be getting into a little bit later. Y'all know how it goes. We start off with news. What's going on, Josh? Anything? Got any news?
Well, not in the personal life. Still, everything's still a little rocky there. But as far as with the world outside, just a couple of things. Really more 2 comments on anything. Kirkman's new mystery book. He said that he was gonna do a book at Marvel that he swore he would never work on.
No, not Kirkman.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the hell's the name?
Oh, man.
See, now you got me thinking about Robert Kirkman and Transformers, and I can't stop thinking about it.
I'm going to have to go back and look, and that's going to be hard to do.
There's Future Foundation. Hickman.
Yeah, I said Kirkman. Yes.
Kirkman,
Jonathan Hickman is coming off of his massive runs, and going into something apparently that not only we shouldn't have expected, but he didn't expect. And man, that's really saying something. I haven't followed his career like you guys have, but I mean, if you know the name Jonathan Hickman, the first thing I think about, and I think probably most comic fans, is going to be the X-Men.
I mean, for most recently, yes, but because I didn't read it, when I hear Jonathan Hickman, my first thought is Fantastic Four.
Hmm?
Because he had a very long run on Fantastic Four that was very fucking good, including the sister book FF for Future Foundation. It was so freaking good.
Hickman did Future Foundation as well.
Yeah,
I see. I enjoyed that.
yeah. I don't remember if he wrote that book specifically, but it's spun out of his Fantastic Four run.
Okay,
Uh,
he laid the
I'm pretty
building
sure he
blocks
did
for
rate
it.
it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did rate Future Foundation though, at least to start. There were two Future Foundation teams though, if I remember right. There was FF where they had the white costumes, unless I'm getting it confused, because there was a secondary team. It was a book called FF, and it had Scott Lang, She Hulk, Medusa, if I remember right. I think it was She Hulk. Maybe it wasn't She Hulk, but there was some next team that took over when the Fantastic Four were away. I don't remember when that took place. He did not rate that. It was very zany, but it was interesting.
I'm mixing up a whole bunch of different timelines where the Fantastic
Yeah.
Four was not the Fantastic Four, and I'm seeing
Oh god,
Spider
there's
Man, She
been a few
Hulk, and
times.
Wolverine. Um,
Oh yeah, there was that classic Fantastic Four replacement: Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Hulk, and Spider Man, and then Reed and Sue went away during Civil War, so Black Panther and Storm took their places alongside Ben and Johnny. That was interesting.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that was
Totally different. Uh, Totally different atmosphere for the Fantastic Four. That's for sure.
yeah, it was very different, but it was also very good. There was that brief period where Ben was away. I think he was depowered, and Jennifer Walters took over as She Hulk.
Uh,
Yeah. So
Jennifer
there's been
Walters, the
there's
best
been
one.
quite a few
Howdy,
very
viewers. How's it
fantastic.
going out there? I got a couple. We got a couple viewers. I'm peeking here at the top of our
Ooh.
chat. So hello, thanks for tuning in. Say hi, subscribe, like, download, print out some advertisements, hand them out at your mall.
Yeah.
um, ah, Jennifer
Right.
Walters.
The point is, Hickman is writing something new. He won't say what it is. He didn't expect to ever write it because he always said he wouldn't. A character or a type of book, and now he is because he found a way into it
Which
that he did
seems
not expect.
like a Ghost Rider, a Spider Man, a Doctor Strange, or a Moon Knight.
Like I am secretly hoping, as I'm sure a lot of people are, it's Spider-Man. Take over ASM, get Nick Spencer off that book, give us Hickman on Spider-Man. That would be fantastic. Because this man, he spins tales. He
See,
weaves just constructs of
yeah,
stories.
he doesn't just tell a story; he builds a world around it and makes you give a shit about it.
Yeah, and his
Um,
runs go on a few years, and it's one long fucking story, like we've seen with X Men, like we've seen with Fantastic Four. Like it's some good shit. So if he gets on Spider Man, that's going to revolutionize the character, and I might actually enjoy Spider Man comics again.
it's been a while since I heard you say that.
I don't think you've ever heard me say that. I
That's
haven't
a good
enjoyed
point.
Spider Man comics in 10 years.
Yeah, that's sad. But
Yeah.
also, what I've heard, I haven't read that shit in a long time. You know, I picked up the big stuff, um, but that was it. I think the last time I actively read Spider Man, like go out and buy every issue, was Maximum Carnage.
God, it was like, what, 30 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I was all the way in it for the Ben Riley Kane stuff. I absolutely love that.
Mm.
But other than that, not really a whole lot has attracted me to Spider-Man. It just Spider-Man's one of those characters where you're like, yeah, he's super cool, but every story is going to be the same, kind of like Batman. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what Hickman, who's used to writing a plethora of characters all at one time, is going to do with Spider-Man, who does have a shitload of characters, but at what point would that be come across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah. Yeah, like there's a fine line where X-Men is clearly a team book. Fantastic Four has multiple characters in it. Amazing Spider-Man, sure, he's got a lot of characters in his family or his world, but it's about him.
Right.
Nobody else is starring in that title. So,
Well, at least
but
for now,
but it's
anyway.
yeah. But this is all speculation anyway. Like I'm just hoping it's Spider-Man. It could be Ghost Rider. It could be Black Panther. It could be fucking I don't know, Iron Man.
It
Who
could be
knows?
Iron Man. Hey, Liam Sauce, thanks for dropping into the chat. Liam Sauce over there watching on YouTube. Howdy, howdy.
Hello. So I've only got the Twitch chat open. I do not see the YouTube chat. You'll have to keep up to date on
That's fine. I just got the multi-stream going.
that.
So, oh, the other thing.
Yes, the
We're supposed to get super excited because one of the variant covers for number 3 of Tom King's Blunder Woman shows her in the all-white 1960s super short go-go dress. I don't know why I'm supposed to get excited for that,
Wait,
but
who said
apparently...
you're supposed to be excited about it?
What?
Who said you're supposed to be excited about it?
All of the articles that were mentioning it that I was reading, and I mean...
Were any of these like Discreet Rant or
Well,
CBR?
there's literally nothing else out there.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
you want
there's
to read about comics,
AIPC, but they don't have a lot of news for DC right now.
no.
But they keep to like good news, like actual freaking news, and that's where you get all this bullshit from these other people that want to say, "Hey, look at this variant cover for Wonder Woman #3. Isn't it fucking awesome? You should be happy." Okay,
No,
it might look cool, but why does that matter? It's a fucking variant cover.
the idea that she'll show back up in the white dress is ridiculous.
But it's just a variant cover. It has nothing to do with
Right.
the story.
And I mean,
And she's not going to show up like that in the comic because the variant covers are just variant covers.
right. So why do I need to get excited about that? And I mean,
Exactly.
furthermore, the fucking Wonder Woman comic is all going to be about introducing Wonder Woman's Joker. I don't need that shit.
This new Amazonian, yeah.
I don't need that shit. Wonder Woman doesn't need her own Joker. She literally fights gods. Like a lot. And she's got a whole bunch of shit that she's supposed to be going through right now.
Like Ares is her Joker, if anything.
If anything, right. Doesn't need a new one. That's just fucking dumb. And anyway, that's all the news I got. Like I said, more comments than anything. But past that,
Yeah.
like Rob said, we've got 2 honorable mentions today. The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 10, which I gave an 8 out of 10 to, and Peacemaker Tries Hard, number 5, which I gave a 7.5 out of 10 to. So, you know the deal by now. If you want to hear about those, you got to tune into the bonus show. And that means that's where you'll be able to hear Justice Society of America, number 6, Blue Beetle, number 1, Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville, number 1, and Birds of Prey, number 1. So
That's a lot of number ones.
no skipping. No skipping the bonus episode this week, kids. Get on in.
There's some good stuff on there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Kamehameha Rider. Just kidding.
Oh my god. I can't wait to get into the Sentai discussion and give you my reasoning for Blue Beetle.
It'll be very interesting to hear what you've got to say about
Yeah.
that.
It's very minor,
Very
but
minor.
also makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Um, since Brandon's not here, there's one thing I'll bring up, which you might find fun.
Okay.
Jay Uso's back.
Jay Uso. He said, "Ah, Sammy, come here. That wasn't very
Yeah.
Usy of me, was it?"
That was so freaking cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, when he said Uzi.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was. It's good to see Jay break away from the bloodline bullshit.
and turn face at that, where his brother is full heel.
Which, okay, let's talk about Jay before we get into Jimmy. All right,
Okay.
Jay being a face, Jay and Jimmy, regardless of the shit that they do in the ring, they've been the Usos forever. That's how they operate. They've always been faces, even when they're heels, just like The Rock. They're
Yeah,
they're
real.
they're they're,
Yeah,
they're in that.
Real has been popular.
They're in that same vein where they could come out and fuck people up illegally every single night, just like they have been doing for a long fucking time, and people still go crazy.
Yeah,
Moving Jay to Raw. Now he's a face. Now he's a guy that's trying to make up for the things that he's done, and everybody there fucking hates him.
yeah.
So he's gonna have some adversity shit to overcome. We've got several people who have a big problem with him. McIntyre, Riddle, Kevin Owens. I mean, so many are going to be pissed at Jey Uso. So his storyline is going to be nice and solid for at least a year.
I hope so.
Um, Roman is fucking Roman. You know, we're not gonna. That story isn't going anywhere. They might bring in. Really, all they can do is bring in some of the. Oh, damn it. Anoy family and try and spice things up. Might get Rikishi in there.
We've
You
been
know,
waiting for Rikishi, but the time might have passed now.
and that's the. It's. I just don't see where else they can go with Roman Reigns, and I think they made a really. I think that the writing did it. I think what happened with Jimmy is fucked up, and I think it's because of the way that it was written. Because
Yeah,
initially, Jimmy was the one trying to get Jay out the bloodline. All right? And
yeah.
then Jay comes out the bloodline and gets mad at Jimmy for it. So now Jimmy's the bad guy, and he lost Jay, and he's not with the bloodline. He wants nothing to do with Solo or Roman. He's made that perfectly clear.
Who,
So
Jimmy?
yeah,
See, I thought that too, but I fell asleep during the end of SmackDown last week,
uh-huh.
where Solo had that match against AJ,
Yeah,
and Jimmy got involved to help Solo.
as his brother, but he doesn't want anything to do with Roman. He
Now,
doesn't
maybe
want
not with
anything to.
Roman, but he's still helping Solo.
Solo is his brother. I wouldn't expect anything less. Hopefully, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and will Solo eventually end up on a tag team with Jimmy?
That could happen. I could see it. Like maybe I see what you're getting. Like where Jay, yeah. So it's starting to make a bit more sense. He interrupted Jay's match with Roman for the title to keep him away from winning the title and becoming the new leader of the bloodline. He wanted him out of the bloodline, and he did that. Jay quit,
Yep.
and now he's as far away from the bloodline as possible while still having a job. So now Jimmy's doing what he can to get to Solo and get Solo out, and then
Yep.
all this stuff does Roman.
Yep. But
So
this whole
Jimmy's
time,
still running that game. Okay.
yep. But this whole time, Jimmy's gonna be painted out to be a heel again for at least a year.
Yeah. I will at least until WrestleMania.
Yeah, at least until WrestleMania.
Yeah, because that's where it's heavily believed that the Bloodline story will end is WrestleMania 40, and God, I hope so, because it's gotten
Everybody's
fucking old.
hoping.
It's gotten really fucking old.
It really is. I mean,
You
okay,
naturally progress to the point where there's infighting, there's people wanting outs, there's people within the bloodline fighting each other. That's where you end it. That's where you began. You had your rise. This is your fall.
yeah,
That should be it.
quit dragging your ass around.
Yeah, but no. Roman needs 3 months off. I don't fucking know.
Roman needs 3 months off. Roman is like, oh, I just had it here. Damn it, I lost it. But Roman isn't even like a wrestler anymore, and that's unfortunate because, I mean, again, back in his Shield days, even though Dean Ambrose always got on my fucking nerves in ECW, they made a hell of a team with the Shield. Him,
You mean
Rollins, and
AEW?
say again,
Do you mean AEW?
AEW. He's in AEW now.
Yeah, but
He
Ambrose
can,
wasn't in ECW.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he did come from AEW then.
Well, no, he's in AEW now because AEW started like 4 years ago.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you,
Are you talking about NXT?
no. We're talking about the days of the Shield, dude, where Roman
Yeah,
Reigns was like the size of a normal person.
yeah, but you're talking about Ambrose before that?
Yeah.
I don't know because ECW went off the air in like 2009.
Pretty sure he came from ECW. I could be mistaken.
Let me check here. Um,
But that's when I thought that Roman Reigns was great. Rollins has blown up into a superstar. Um,
he was in
Ro-
FCW.
FCW, okay.
Yeah, and then NXT.
Uh, it's just not entertaining anymore.
No, he really isn't.
You know, I mean, he's this big silent I own everything thing, and he doesn't anymore.
What was that? You or me?
I think that might have been you. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure.
I don't know. I was just sitting here listening. I don't know what happened.
It booted this collab cam. It's still a um, what do they call it? Experimental feature or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
working so far. Every once in a while, if you disappear, I just gotta go click, get them back. But yeah, man, it's time for Roman to let that shit go. We need somebody in there that will actually be a fucking champ. Um, I hate the idea of Gunther doing it. I think that's fucking stupid.
You're
Um,
stupid.
he's got zero personality. I don't care
He,
about
he's got.
his in-ring attendance.
But
His
that's the point of the character. You don't need personality. He's good in the ring.
he's
Heck, damn it.
he's written good in the ring.
What do you mean written good? He shows
His
off so. Did you watch the match with Gable for Monday night?
I did, and it was a good match.
Such a
But
good match for both of them.
Gunther is not Gunther's not on Gable's level as far as being an
Well,
in-ring performer.
no, I can agree with you there, but he's really fucking close. For me,
Gable
like
should be getting
Chad
the
Gable
push.
and Kurt Angle are like the pinnacle of wrestling in WWE.
Oh, I gotta watch that fucking documentary. But I mean, if somebody's
Yeah.
getting a fucking push, it shouldn't just be that big ass popsicle looking fucking dude. It should be somebody that it should take more than looking like a twinsicle to get you to be a star.
Well, okay,
And
so
unfortunately, that's the only thing that Gunther has going for him. In WCW, when Vince gets to chime in, that's all it fucking takes.
uh,
Yeah, LA Knight should be light years pushed beyond Gunther. Gable, light years pushed beyond Gunther. There's a number of them that I could see that holding that. Uh, okay, breaking the Honky Tonk record, breaking the San Martino record. I think both of those as an end goal were fucking stupid, especially to do it back to back.
I mean,
It's
he's not going to break the San Martino record because San Martino's record is 6+ years.
oh shit.
Yeah,
Ah,
so he's got to hold it for another 3 fucking years. I really hope they don't do that.
no, I mean if they were to let that fucking happen, it would be done, dude. Like people
Yeah,
would be so fucking bored. Nobody would even give a shit about
people
the
already don't give a
undisputed
shit.
champion.
They already don't give a shit about that.
It, and but
He
it's the real
he's
championship.
defended that title 4 times this year.
Yep.
Rollins has defended his title to the point that he is not medically cleared to compete anymore.
Which
Yeah,
hopefully doesn't end up with a vacant title.
no, I hope not. The break of the Hockey Talk record, though, I think is fine because that record in terms of day count is under a year, so it's not excessive.
But
Um,
doing them both in the same fucking year, that was just
that's just
that's
how the time frame came out. Roman didn't really break any records. I think he's still like the third longest title holder for what the WWE Championship, I guess it is.
yeah.
Um, but he's the third longest. The whole big deal is the fact that he broke 1,000 days. Not many people get into the 4 digits. Uh,
I
but
don't think it should have happened at all.
no, it's really dumb. He should have lost it
So
at
dumb.
Mania to Cody, but Cody had to finish a story that is
So,
unclear what the story is.
uh, the story is him getting that fucking championship for his dad. Getting it right off the bat, I think that would have been bad storytelling. I do. The Brock shit was completely fucking stupid.
Until that
Um,
last match. That last match was really good. I'll admit. I
oh,
didn't give two shits about the first 2 matches, but the third one was actually really good.
the third, yeah, it was a damn good match, but the whole purpose behind it, there wasn't any.
No, they could have
There
actually
wasn't
done
any
it completely differently. They never really explained why Brock attacked Cody.
ever. Like there was nothing. It was just something high profile for Cody to do while they meander around with all these other unimportant, nobody gives a shit storylines. Because Cody Rhodes is not going to be holding the Monday Night Raw belt.
No.
He'll be holding the undisputed belt. And when that fucking happens, that's it's gonna have to be over a year because it's gonna involve a draft.
Yeah. We'll see. I just hope next year they do it a lot better.
Phew.
If they do the WWE draft again, actually shake some stuff up. Don't just swap factions. Like that
Right.
was really stupid. Actually shake some stuff up.
Split up some tag teams,
Yep.
make new ones,
Yep.
make some shit happen, make
Yep.
Josh happy.
Like how they some of the big twists in the past they've done. They've had announcers switch sides.
Yeah.
Like they even had there was one draft where they had Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross were like the longtime commentary duo, and
Hmm.
then Jared was drafted to SmackDown, and then he just got up and left. Like it was so weird, but so cool to see that they were even including ring announcers. There's like everybody is eligible to be drafted. But
And
then you even
now,
had ones like, for example, John Cena. He was drafted twice in one night, which was really weird. But it was like an auto lottery. It was just picked at random. There wasn't like people behind a door picking on purpose.
right, which
Yeah,
seems fucking weird in and of itself. But
yeah.
anyway,
That was the kind of twist that I enjoyed, and I wish they kept going with that. But no, Here, we're drafting the entire fucking bloodline. What?
Yeah, should have been one person at a time, and hopefully they'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've waited around for a long ass time for Brandon. Shall we get
Let's get into some
started? And
comics. Yeah,
uh,
let's do it.
I tell you what, I'm gonna mark us down for a. Oh no, I'm not. All right, we're gonna pop in here for a real brief commercial break on our regular podcast channels for Spotify, and then come right back. All right, done. And we are back. All
Oh,
right,
that was fast.
it was so fast.
Whew. Like,
Um, all right, let's kick it off with Steelworks, shall we?
as you were.
Steelworks #4, written by Michael Dorn, art from Sammy Basri and Vicente Cifuentes, colors Andrew Dahlhaus, letters Rob Lee, and that cover came from Eddie Barrows and Adriano Lucas. As important as this issue was to the overall story, it reads super fast, and the summary goes fairly much the same way. Following up the events where Lana's latent Superwoman abilities emerged and Superboy lost control of his heat vision, John Henry Irons is back in the lab running some tests. Meanwhile, Silver Mist, or rather his boss, Mr. Walker, thinks now is the perfect time to break into Steelworks again. Irons sets up a decoy, and Silver Mist broke in and destroyed it. Iron later moves the real Genesis fragment, but did it in front of people, which of course means that the secret hiding spot isn't exactly so secret. The real robbery takes place now, but here's the thing. Steel has a Genesis orb, and now Walker has a Genesis orb, but there's only one Genesis orb. So who has the real one? I guess we'll find out. I continue to really enjoy the art in the series. It's done really well. And I love the story. It's fun, introduces a few pretty cool concepts, like further story with the Genesis, Lana's Superwoman again. All of the supers have been affected by this at a molecular level. While the series might be ending soon, the things done in this book are going to offer all of the other Metropolis writers a lot to play with, and I hope they handle it the right way. I'm all about this. I wish it was an ongoing because I would like to see where Dorn himself would take things if given another 3 to 6 issues, but I will take this, and this will take an 8.5 out of 10.
So I'm gonna really lead right away. They did kind of answer that question you had, like who has the real Genesis orb.
Oh,
Yeah, like I had to like double check it. I had to go back and reread it just to make sure I wasn't confused. Um, but it happened so quickly, like it's easy to miss. It was really weird how it was done. When John was sitting on the rooftop with Clark and Lana,
mm-hmm.
he mentioned like that this isn't the real Genesis orb because if it is, you two would be going crazy right now.
See
So
who
which means Walker has
has
the
the
real
real
Genesis
one.
orb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he said, I may be smart, but I'm not smart enough to not get tricked the second time today, or something like that. Um, which would have been the cleaning crew. Yeah, because they showed Mr. Walker got the orb. The cleaning crew had it. So it was still kind of weird how that happened because John went in to retrieve an orb before the cleaning crew got there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know when or how it got switched. I don't know. That whole part was kind of weird. Um,
It
this
was.
issue was a lot more interesting for me, but I'm still not sold on the series. There's a couple of inconsistencies, like the part I just told you about. I'm not completely sold on the art as dynamic as it can be at times. I'm just not completely sold on the story, but it's interesting enough to be interesting. So I gave it a 7 out of 10, maybe
7 out of 10.
7.5 on a good day.
7.5 on a good day. Been a long time since I heard that, man.
Right, Brandon?
Oh, he is here.
He is here.
He is here.
Hey!
Hey,
Brandon.
it's so hot. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
ended up just having to walk the last leg of it, so I'm not
shit.
first.
Is it hitting near like is it in the 90s right now?
It was like close to that earlier. I think it's 84 now. Last I checked.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I can never remember like the conversion between Celsius and Fahrenheit, but
yeah,
since Sunday we've been hitting 30 plus degrees, 40 with you.
yeah, yeah. I have a teacher who is he's also on the Celsius system, and he said it was like we were in like 32 or something. I don't know if that's hot.
That's pretty hot, yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we've been the past few days, and then today we're supposed to have a thunderstorm, but it kind of
yeah.
got weird.
Yeah,
So
I don't know Celsius because I only speak freedom.
I only speak freedom. It's 87 it's 87 down here, Rob, and that's 31 degrees.
Oh, okay. Brandon, just one request. Is there any way you can point your fan away from the microphone a little bit?
I can try, but it's hard.
I know. If there's any, you can still have it on you if possible.
Yeah,
I want you to overheat. I know how it feels.
Yeah, no, I just kind of pushed it away. I don't know if that helps a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, you're just in time. We both just talked about Steelworks. You got any thoughts about it?
Nothing really.
Because Brandon and I were both still here.
Yep.
Interesting.
Weird, but go ahead.
Yeah, as you were, Brandon.
But yeah, no, I don't know that I had anything major to add. Just it was a fairly enjoyable issue, and I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have all that much to say.
Yeah, I get that. All right, well, that was Steelworks. Very simple. All right, now we're going on to City Boy number 4, part of We Are Legends. This one is written by Greg Pak, with Yu Young, colors from Sebastian Cheng, and letters from Wes Abbott, with a very nice cover from Minkyu Young and Sunny Go. So Marcus is a name, yeah. Marcus, he's now in Bloodhaven, tracking down his mother, but he loses track of her city image as the city shows memories of the nuclear attack that devastated it all the way back during the Final Crisis.
Infinite Crisis.
So,
but the Command D Center was the Command D Center, which is where oh god, I don't remember the fake names that they were using, but basically
Command D Bunker.
Yeah, Glorious Godfrey, acting under the guise of a priest, as well as 2 other new gods who I'm blanking on right now. We're working out Command D, trying to engineer new soldiers and all that stuff. But the actual destruction of Bloodhaven was in Infinite. No, actually, that's not even true. Well, kind of.
I think it was after.
No, well, so it happened in. A lot of people kind of forget this. It happened in Under the Hood, because when Chemo was actually dropped on Bloodhaven, it was like a brief panel in Under the Hood, just to kind of show the power of the society. But they didn't really explore the damage of it until I think it might have been the Teen Titans annual, which is tie into Infinite Crisis.
Oh, okay.
That's where they really deal with it more. But the Command D Center is until Final Crisis.
So I only said Final Crisis because the text box says to check out the Final Crisis omnibus. I didn't even think about it, but you have a point. Yeah, that is kind of weird that they said that, unless it's in the omnibus, but who knows. Anyway, he sees a whole bunch of city spirits just melting, and it's really fucked up. But then he's found by Nightwing. He gets Marcus gets freaked out. I really hope I'm not saying the wrong name.
City Boy.
It is Marcus, right? Cameron? Oh, okay. Who's Marcus?
Marcus. Well, maybe thinking of Marcus Tope, like artist. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know why I was thinking Marcus. Okay, Cameron. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That makes more sense. Yeah, so Cameron gets a little spooked by Nightwing, and his city powers awaken the spirits of Bloodhaven, which takes the form of a bat. Um, they have a little brief discussion about shit going on, and Nightwing offers to help him find his mother if Cameron helps him track down somebody else. Somebody who went missing and is potentially tied to Intergang and the Apocalypse hordes. They do find the person, but Cameron knows a little bit more about this person than Nightwing does, and realizes that none of this is really her fault. So he fights against Nightwing to protect her. They have a brief skirmish, are tracked down by Intergang and ambushed. Dr. Makari's son is there, aka Makari from Apocalypse. And Marcus goes a little haywire with the Bloodhaven Bat, beginning to take over the city with more city, and then realizes he needs to get under control, stops the bat, and then the new god and Intergang boom tube away. Cameron leaves the girl with Nightwing, where he promises to keep her safe as he runs away, hides in the forest, and leaves the Bloodhaven bat off to its own devices. He sits down by a tree, falls asleep, and is found by a certain emissary of the Green. But we'll find out more about that in the next issue. So for me, each issue is getting better and better. I'm curious if there's even really a big mystery with Cameron's mom, or if it's just a plot device to get him to the city. Is there really something deeper going on with where she went, or did they really just answer it here? Like, it's kind of on my mind because it does feel like it just ended right now. I don't know. And also, why did the shape of Bloodhaven take the form of a bat? Wouldn't that be more Gotham's thing?
Bat family is gonna bat family, I guess.
I would have thought this would have been maybe a little bit too silly, but I felt the oh wow, I just turned my brightness up and my face lit up. I thought the appropriate animal for Bloodhaven probably should have been a whale. Because Bloodhaven's supposed to be a whaling town.
Yeah,
maybe having a little floating whale would have looked too silly. I don't know.
It definitely would have. I think any kind
of
sea life. I agree with you though. Like, it's a port town.
Yeah.
It prided itself. I think it used to be like a place for sailors and pirates to just stop and tow anchor, but
yeah,
or drop anchor.
And Nightwing's ass, there's all kind of sailors showing up.
Very cheeky. Yeah, I guess if Metropolis has a dragon as its consciousness, then
which I thought that was weird too.
That. Yeah.
Why not? I don't know. I didn't really see it coming, but it looks like City Boy definitely has the potential for turning bad. Darkseid is all over this story, but I can't figure out exactly where yet. Obviously, he's the big bad, but how does that organically tie in with what's been going on in the book so far? I mean, what I mean is, some of the book feels like a character piece on City Boy and his history, what got him here, and we're also seeing a bunch of stuff that is indicative of nothing but his future with Granny Goodness and Darkseid and Intergang working for Darkseid. And then we add Swamp Thing to the mix. When this kind of story gets told, the present often loses out and the story ends up worse for it. I hope that won't be the case here. Oftentimes it is. This one, for me, was not as good as the previous issue. Things just got a little cloudier for me. The art is really good, and I enjoy the living daylights out of it. I don't hate the book by any stretch, but this was definitely not where it needed to be for me. The story feels muddy and it's number 4. That's not the greatest thing to do to a young book. I want more from this. I was completely unimpressed when it was when we read that first issue. But up until this issue, I've been a big fan, and now I feel like it all went murky again. So 6.75 out of 10 for me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I gave it an 8 out of 10. Still enjoyed it. Just a lot of questions left to answer.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. I think it's definitely been improving since the first issue, and I like that. I mean, while it may be a little bit much for you, Josh, I do feel like, for me at least, like it's been nice kind of having both the character study of City Boy, just giving him a little bit more depth and added layers, I suppose you could say, while also kind of trying to build up the mystery of what lies ahead with his future. Is it going to be apocalypse, or is it going to turn towards the light? Is it hero? Like, fairly simple, nothing revolutionary, but it's just kind of solid. So, in terms of the three We Are Legends books, like maybe something past, but I feel like this one's probably going to be, your sleeper hit, if you will, where the spirit world and the Vigil are kind of taking the center of attention. This one's pretty solid. So, 8 out of 10, like solid story. Really like the art. Nothing to complain about, honestly.
Right on. All right, now we're going to move on to Shazam number 3. Number 3.
Yes.
Yeah. And Brandon, if you can take it away.
Yes, I can. But I don't have the credits, so I'm gonna do that first. Yeah. Probably should have written this down. Where did I put my issue? Ugh. Okay, Shazam number 3. Let's see. Written by Mark Waid with art from Dan Mora, though they're both credited as storytellers, with colors from Alejandro Sanchez and letters from Troy Pateri. Our issue opens resolving a little bit of a cliffhanger from, I think it was issue 2, where Freddy had been investigating the Rock of Eternity and kind of stumbled on the classic heroes of Shazam, or the classic Olympians, or whatever you want to call them. And this issue opens with Freddy captured by the champions, and Freddy's kind of taunting him. Hey, he's crippled. That's way out of pocket. Come on, man. Anyway, so Freddy is now in the hands of the champions, and Freddy is taunting them, saying that when Shazam comes for them, they're going to make him pay. But of course, they have nothing to fear, because Shazam literally works for them. He invokes all of their names, so naturally, he's not going to save Freddy. He's going to work for them. But in the meantime, Freddy, when he returns, because they're not going to kill him, they're just going to send him back, is going to serve the champions for a little bit, acting as their eyes and ears on the ground, watching Billy and making sure, he's doing what they want him to do ultimately. But unfortunately, while the other champions who have kind of tried to assert their control have failed up until this point in getting Billy to completely succumb to their will, Solomon, the Proud, as he calls himself, or excuse me, not Solomon, Atlas, is going to take the lead and take control, try and steer Billy towards the path that he wants him. But we cut back.
That shit was funny.
Yeah, good old Atlas.
Yeah, good.
It's nice to see these champions teasing each other. After thousands of years, they still have a sense of humor.
Hey, hold this world for me for just a second, would
you? Yeah. It's just like, come on, man. I've had to hold up the sky for like longer than humans have even thought there was a sky. Like, enough with the jokes. But anyway, we cut back to Fawcett City, where Billy has had to make an unfortunate pivot. As we know, he was running his YouTube page covering Shazam / the Captain in all his glory, but because he can't be the Captain anymore, he's decided to focus on everyone's favorite hero, Metamorpho, and all the comments are not happy with that. I thought that was funny. But
of all
sort
the
of
heroes to choose.
Yeah, the next kind of segment of the issue follows Billy as he is adjusting to having life without powers, which I thought was really interesting. Just seeing Billy kind of on the ground level again, where he doesn't have access to Shazam and everything. Kind of have to be human. But In any case, Billy is also having nightmares about the dangers of Shazam coming to the surface again. And even though there are other heroes out in Fawcett City or Philadelphia or just on the East Coast in general that can take care of dangers, Billy still kind of feels like he should be, you know, having a hand in all of that. But while he is sort of out and about, he notices that a bus is steering off course, which is, of course, Atlas is doing because Atlas is fed up with Billy not using his powers and decides to give him a little nudge, or at least the champions give him a little nudge. And because no other heroes are around at that time, and Billy is kind of privy to everything that's going on, he's forced to transform into the captain and save the bus, which just so happens to be filled with a bunch of people making their way to a conference at the United Nations or something, or they're coming from a conference in the United Nations um, made up of ambassadors from Gorilla City, and now they're back, which was great. So Billy gives them a lift over to Gorilla City, and even though he's sort of wary about having to use his powers again, how could you pass up the opportunity of getting to see a literal city populated with gorillas? It's too much. So they're making their way back. Sorry, I'm hearing like a weird buzzing. Is that my fan?
Nope, it's on Rob's side now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, anyway, I'll just keep talking. I see we can fix it. But we cut back. It's just loud. We cut back to the Shazamily home, where they're still entertaining the dinosaur lawyer who's waiting for them to fill out all the paperwork. And naturally, both Darla and Talkie Tawny don't want to have to deal with that, but they know that trouble is brewing on that side of things. Um, in Gorilla City, Billy is given a task to help depose kind of this evil warlord who's building technology on the moon. So he makes his way there, and is kind of noting how much more powerful he feels in terms of everything as he's coming up against all these robot defenders and everything. And that's when he comes face to face with one Emperor Garguax. I hope that's how you pronounce it. He's kind of confused as to why the captain is there, but is willing to face him head on to just figure out what the hell is going on. I don't know. I don't have much to say about this one other than that. I don't know why it came out weird, but other than that, this series just continues to be amazing. Continues to be just an incredible, lighthearted take on Shazam. And even if he's having a bit of misfortune with his powers right now, like it's just such a fun series to read. The art from Dan Moore is absolutely incredible, and it just continues to feel like just the excellent Shazam book. And I was very pleased to find out that this was an ongoing. For some reason, I thought it was a limited series, but it seems like they're going to keep the series going for as long as they can. So
It's a Shazam book.
yeah.
That's been the practice for a long time. Is if we get a Shazam,
No,
it's a
because
mini.
we had the Shazam limited series from Tim Sheridan. So I guess I thought it was going to be another thing like that, and also the new Champion of Shazam book, which is a limited series.
Plus,
So,
Jeff John's last run on it was a limited series too.
well, no, that was intended to be an ongoing, but I think
Oh,
the delays kind of made it into a limited series. But it seems
ah,
like this is going to be a proper ongoing for however long they want that to be, which is awesome. So I'm still loving this book, and I'm hoping that we can continue to have fun with it. So I gave this an 8.5 out of 10.
right on, right on. Honestly, I really don't know how much I'm into this book. It's number three, and all of this, man. Everything that's going on in this book should be gripping my interest and not letting go, especially for a Shazam book, um, where there's been so many change ups lately. It feels like watered down water, words on a page that just weren't engaging. Um, the art looks great. It's Dan Mora, of course. Really good team. The colors could honestly use some help blending highlights and lowlights. Shazam is flat out wearing rouge in a couple of these, but the story, man, Mora kicks ass, but the story just feels dead. Um, I am starting to wonder if I'm still a Mark Waid fan.
Mm,
6 out of 10.
mm. That would be a shame to not be a Mark Waid fan, because when you talk about legendary creators, he's up there.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. But I mean, much like with wrestling, or all kinds of little other shit. You know, when Roman Reigns got that belt, it was great, and then he turned 3 years later to where he never shows up on any promotions.
yeah.
It you know, I mean, you start off fantastic, you're known for what you did, but I mean, at the end of it, doesn't mean that you're gonna be good forever because you were good at one time. Which I mean, Mark Waid, I fucking great at one time, legendary, big, huge Mark Waid fan. But between World's Finest and this, I am so monumentally disappointed.
I wish I could see it through your eyes, man, because I'm still loving World's Finest. Um, as for Shazam, though, like I'm kind of between you two, where this issue, sure, it's only number 3. It did kind of move the plot along slightly, but you're left with the same questions from when you started.
Yeah,
Like, even to the point that there's not even new questions. There wasn't much to talk about in this issue apart from we got a little of insight with the 6 gods, and then Billy went to Gorilla City. And then we got a visit from an old Doom Patrol villain, which might have been the most interesting part of the issue.
and you can't forget the accountant space dinosaurs that are threatening to invade the world if Billy Batson doesn't settle his debts.
That sounds awesome when you say it like that. I know you're trying to be sarcastic, but
No,
like,
that's
it's such a zany plot
Yeah,
idea. It's perfect for
like,
Shazam.
it's
that's
perfect
part of the fun I
Shazam.
like. Yeah,
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
the, that's what I'm saying. The things that are going on should be gripping my interest. They just aren't.
yeah. Like that's the kind of thing I'm feeling. Like, I do think this book can get back on track, but
Fingers crossed,
they
man.
need to hurry up with this God's plot, and maybe get to some point where it does feel like. And I know, Josh, you don't like World's Finest right now, but get to a point where it is like World's Finest. It's just zany adventures. It's just fun, because when you had those fun issues, like the first one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. The second one had some plot developments, told us some story that was fine. This issue was missing all of that,
See, it's like
apart from the dinosaur accountant. Like, that's
Shazam should be zany. Shazam should be fun. But
yeah,
also, right now, in Shazam, there's been so much shit going on.
yeah,
With Mary, now she's empowered by other gods. Billy can and can't share the power. He can and can't turn into the captain. Um, there's
I mean,
so
he
many.
can, he just won't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you
It's
know what I mean,
dangerous.
because
Yeah,
it's there's a lot of shit to resolve, and just going into that empty world's finest, it's fun to read kind of deal. It is that's not gonna solve any of these questions that have been introduced over the past 6 months or so. Now
yeah.
closer to a year, I think. By this point, Shazam's just been shit on since he went to hell.
If that's not a T-shirt, I went to hell and all I got was shit on.
All I got was shit on. It was a fecal demon. All
Oh
right.
God, yeah. I gave a fucking 8 out of 10 because the art's fantastic.
8 out of 10. Excellent.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Poison Ivy. Talk about a winner. I hope. Number
Hopefully,
14.
let's. Only one way to
Josh, give
find
us a
out.
W.
From Gods to the Green, written by G. Willow Wilson, art from Marcio Takara, Colors Arif Prianto with Hassan Asmani Al-How on letters, who has become my favorite letterer. Clayton Cowles has bumped down to second. And another gorgeous Jessica Fong cover. Man, I have missed those over the past couple of months.
They were such
So
good covers.
beautiful. We pick back up after our unnecessary 2-month break, right where we left off. Man, that 2-month break sure was a nightmare, wasn't it? Ivy fighting the murdered body of a man with a flower blooming out of his face. Pam acknowledges that the killer has sent her a message, but what it is and where it's from, she doesn't know yet. So off she goes hunting the clues down. Poison Ivy, private investigator. Pie Pie. It's Pie Pie.
Pipe.
Pie Pie.
Oh God.
So first clue, the guy was frightened to death, not poisoned. So like I said, off she goes, and it doesn't take long for her to track things down to Undine Holdings, owned by Peter Undine, a slime ball that Luther invited to Gotham way back in No Man's Land. That's the second deep cut that's been made this week.
Wait,
So,
what was the first deep cut?
The nuclear explosion in Bloodhaven.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is that really a deep cut?
I mean,
Oh,
it's a throwback.
it's
It's
a
a throwback for
throwback,
sure.
that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
All right. So, Peter Undine, sleazeball, no man's land. Her investigation takes her to a trippy, hallways go on forever place where she can't even keep track of herself or her own pheromones, which usually act like a trail of breadcrumbs for her. Excuse me. So while all of this is going on, Janet is helping Ivy out by investigating Undine Holdings by applying for a job which she doesn't think she'll get because of the questions that she asked. She's about to bring up an earlier conversation that she had with Harley, where Harley was very nice and told her that she liked her, and then basically said that the place wasn't big enough for the three of them and called her side quest, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was about to say something when she hangs up because Batman swings in to tell her to leave Ivy before she can't, calling Ivy a terrorist. What a dick! Janet responds by hitting him with a purse and running, where she gets pulled out of sight by Harley from the shadows of a nearby building. After some light chastising from Harley, Janet says, "Now I see what Ivy sees in you," and they kiss. Flip back over to Ivy to close out the issue, where she gets surprised by someone saying the building is changing and that both Ivy and himself are as well. Who this guy is, I don't know. It's not Floronic Man. It is not Bloom. It is a new flower-based villain. Dresses in a blue suit and has a really pretty big-ass flower for a face. But that's all we know for now.
It's Flower Face Flowerdale.
Flower face Frank.
God, never mind. I was making a cherry face Chippendale joke, but it didn't work because tongue twisters suck.
That they do. It's been a while since you heard me this, so here it is again. The art in this series is absolutely perfect, especially for this series. It's gorgeous to look at and encompasses a lot of different scenery that would have a lot of series bringing in separate artists. You don't get that here. And I can't get enough of Ivy's adventures. I've seen some shit online about this issue, people complaining about all of the cheating that's been going on in the series. But get a stick out of your ass. One, it's fictional characters, and two, there's such thing as open relationships, polyamorous relationships, honest relationships, relationships with Harley Quinn. I mean, all things that people need to understand if they're going to get hung up on stuff like this. Seriously, I saw somebody give this a 5.5 out of 10 based on the infidelity. Fucking dumb. This book is awesome. 9 out of 10.
I mean, well, I didn't get to read this issue, so I can't speak for it all that much. But I don't know that Ivy has had a conversation with Harley about
No.
Janet yet.
Yeah, they
So
know.
that is a little that's a little sketch. Like,
Yeah, like
Harley
the
does
Harley
know
M.
about Janet. That's why she
okay,
referred to her as side quest and says, "Look, I
yeah,
appreciate everything that y'all have been through, etc., etc." Harley's just not hung up on it. So we could eventually be looking at a Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Janet from HR team up book,
Or a thruple.
yeah.
or a thruple. If
Yeah.
those aren't bad ideas, if you got the heart for them. Um, but yeah, dude, awesome, awesome,
Like
awesome, awesome. 9 out of 10.
the polyamory side of it, like that's rooted in you need to have open discussion with your partner that needs to be conducted on trust, needs to be conducted on open thoughts and feelings and agreeing on things. But none of that's happened here. Now, don't get me wrong. The infidelity is not affecting the story for me whatsoever. If anything, it's like ooh drama. Like that's what I'm looking at it as. The stuff with Janet and Ivy at first was like, okay, this is a bit of a twist. I'm about it. Let's see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the follow up. Janet kisses Harley. Like I could see Janet kissing Harley, but I don't see Harley kissing Janet back. When not on like 10 pages earlier, she was saying, "Hey, do you want to like leave?" Like I
Side
don't.
quest.
Yeah, like that's the part about it that's bugging me is I don't see Harley making that move with Janet. Um, just based on the interactions they've had so far.
Right, and I don't think we've seen anything that indicates that. I don't think we've seen anything that indicates Brandon left. Um,
Though we have seen something that indicates Brandon left.
we do, we have,
Yeah.
but we haven't seen anything that indicates that Pam has any real feelings for Janet at all.
No, no. If anything, it was just a fling, but also not the only person that Pam slept with on her excursion across
Right,
the
because
country.
I mean, there was that entire psychedelic orgy.
Yeah,
You know, just there was that.
and there was that other person at that factory, and I think there was another time.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
orgy, the factory,
something else,
Janet.
maybe Janet.
I think that was it, but I could be wrong. Anyway, Poison Ivy is gonna flower.
Oh God. I'm hoping that this guy is Mr. Bloom 2.0. We'll see, but I doubt it. It's gonna be an original character. Um, the story we have had so far. I was gonna say this is issue 13, but it's issue 14. So the 2 issues so far. I don't have that same feeling from the original story in the first 12 issues. It doesn't feel as exciting or interesting, but I'm still hooked. I'm still hooked on this book. It's still really good. Just don't expect the same. I don't want to say excitement, but same atmosphere as her cross country journey. If that makes sense.
It does. I didn't consider that this could be an evolution of Mr. Bloom.
I honestly don't think it is. I'm suffering from Mr. Bloom withdrawal.
Could be. Could
And I
be.
want more Bloom. So this is like I'm secretly low key hoping it's a Mr. Bloom 2.0, even though logically I think there's no fucking way.
Well,
But we'll
I
see.
tell you what, I would much rather have Sundowner or Mr. Bloom or literally anything other than Floronic Man.
I mean, he's dead
Ish.
ish.
It's in comics, and Ivy ate him. So I
Yeah.
mean, he's inside of her somewhere,
That's disgusting.
but absolutely accurate.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's not the first time he's been destroyed, and his consciousness lives on. It's like
No.
Anton Arcane; it just isn't going to die.
Yeah.
And I think the closer that Ivy gets to the green, the closer she's going to become something like that as well. Just my personal opinion.
Right.
On a book that kicks ass, you should go
Yep.
buy it if you're not.
Definitely. The only thing I can say is I'm going to call this book Poison Ivy Picture Show because all I'm saying is, damn it, Janet, 8 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
Do you
Oh,
like that?
that's. I did. That was a good one. That was a good one, my man.
Yeah. All right, now we're on to our last issue for this show. And it has, I want to say, divided the fan base, at least the fan base on this show. But I'm taking the role of Josh this week, where I have the differing opinion.
We'll see.
Because even all I posted a page or two out of this issue on Reddit on Tuesday, and everybody was like, "This is fucking dumb." So, I realize I am heavily in the minority here, but I will explain my side. This is Batman number 137, parts 1/2, kind of the Gotham War.
Subsection A.
Subsection A, yes. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art from Jorge Jimenez, colors from Toma Mori, and letters from Clayton Cowles. When I was writing these credits down, I realized I actually have these ones memorized. But I've never memorized an entire creative team for a book before, but like these four just seem so iconic for the title now for me. Huh?
I said perfect.
Right on. All right, so we open up on two criminals posing as maintenance people, pulling off a heist again, as taught by Catwoman. But Batman is there and instantly takes them out. And then we get a little clip show of him taking the fight to all sorts of criminals that were trained by Catwoman. And he's picking off most of her upper echelon, the heads, the people she in her inner circle, I guess I'll say, because that's not really been named yet. And she's starting to get stressed out with just what the hell's going to happen. She says to call Jason, and as he's tracking down one more person, he's looking a little mentally worse for wear and just maybe a little bit Zeranar. We will see how that goes. He is found by Robin, and he has a bit of a confrontation, tells him to stand down, or he'll arrest him myself because him and the rest of the Bat family seem to be okay with crime now. Then we get a brief reprise at the clock tower where the rest of the Bat family are discussing what the hell to do next. And Jason thinks we need to stop him, at the very least, stay one step ahead of him. So they go off to do their thing. And this happened in this issue. Yeah, Catwoman and Jason set off a plan. Sorry, I was remembering something different. I remember the panel I was about to read. I thought that happened in the last issue. All right, so they set a plan in motion to get ahead of Batman and take him down, and also get the rest of the Catwoman crew to safety. But Batman is ahead of them even further, where they thought he was going to be. He's not there, and instead he goes straight to the source, takes out some people, and gets attacked by Jason. Then the rest of the family show up. Yeah, Robin, Nightwing, Signal, both Batgirls, all there to help fight Batman and maybe not take him down, but subdue him, trying to talk some sense into him. And between Nightwing and Red Hood, they do get a bit of an upper hand. Batman falls out of a building, falls on a car, and as Jason is about to hit him with a crowbar for the final blow, Damian comes in and punches the mask off of Jason, in which was the page I posted on Reddit because I thought it was really fucking cool. Mm-hmm. But then Damian helps Batman escape, and the rest of the family is left to lick their wounds. Some of the Catwoman crew have escaped, but not all have survived the excursion. Batman is pondering what to do next, um, and then gets a visit from a banker. I was going to say a broker, a banker, who tells
Close
him
enough.
that something's gone on with his manor, that the brownstone was purchased with the mansion as collateral, but the mansion is no longer his, and maybe he should pay more attention to his financials. So Bruce drives straight to the cave and tries to figure out what the hell he's going to do. Has a little mental confrontation with Zur-En-Arc, and reminds himself that Zur-En-Arc is locked away, and he has a moment where he's just down on himself. Everything's falling apart. He's lost his home, his family, his body is falling apart. All he has left is his mission. But then he notices the clock entrance to the mansion is open, and he realizes someone is there, and that someone is none other than the new owner of Wayne Manor, Vandal Savage.
You gotta be shitting me!
Vandal Savage then clues together that Batman is Bruce Wayne. What is that clip from?
I don't even remember.
Oh shit, sounds so familiar. Okay, so I will explain the parts that I liked first. No, they explain the difference between the parts I like, the parts I think are dumb. I can agree that the parts with the family are really fucking dumb. The motivations behind the family, their place in the story, and the voices that are set for them, for the most part, are really off and don't make a lot of sense with the story still. But the overall voice for Batman, and with the mental degradation and the stress put on his body and his mind and just his emotions, I can feel for that. Like he's falling apart. He knows it, and he doesn't know how to fix it. He has no plan for this. He's lost his hand. He's lost his family. He's lost his home. He's lost all his money. Shit's just going out of control, and he can't grasp at it.
Well, that's what he's
loving
doing.
that.
Desperately grasping for anything.
Exactly. And that is something I'm loving, because for me, that's a new angle for Batman that we haven't seen, because he's always had something. If he hasn't had his family, he's had his mansion. He's had Alfred. Now he doesn't have Alfred. Maybe he had his family. Family's gone. He had the money, but everything's fucking gone. He's always had something. Now he has nothing, and that's going to take a toll on his mind. And add then to the fact that his body is beginning to fail him, and he's not as sharp and strong as he used to be. That's going to take a toll. It's Batman aging. Really
that point that you pointed out, which should be interesting, is literally why this issue fails for me in every single way. But I'll explain on that later.
I like tuned my hearing off for like 3 seconds. What was the point that Rob just made?
Just that all of the things that Batman has kind of had in his life, his family, Alfred, the money, all of that is gone now, and he's kind of adrift, which again should have been applied in a much better way, in a fitting Batman way, but was not, which again for me is why everything about this just completely falls apart. But
okay, so it's not so much the fact that it's happening, but the way it's being.
No, because I mean that's just drama. Like obviously you lose your family, all that stuff, but it's like
the fact that's happening.
I'll let you finish, and then I'll get into my critiques.
Okay. There are some cool moments with the family, like I said, with Damian punching Jason so hard his mask shattered. I thought that was really fucking cool, but everything else was dumb. And the art, it's Jorge, it's fantastic, except for Nightwing. And Brandon, I blame you, because you and I once had a discussion about Jorge and his anatomy.
Yeah.
And
well, you were the one who pointed out that there were people who didn't look like that, and I was like,
yes,
I mean, I guess
because you brought up Nightwing's body from a story that Jorge drew months ago.
That was
you told me to find a person that has this body shape, and sure I did, but since that day I've not been able to stop thinking about that body shape and thought, as much as this is like real, that's not Nightwing. It looks fucking weird.
Yeah.
I just don't like it now. So the art for me is fantastic, except for Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just when he draws Nightwing like that, and I don't know why. Because there's some panels where he looks like really cool, like when he's just running towards Bruce. And
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, but
yeah,
when
for
he's
some
standing
reason,
still,
it's like
yeah,
it's like a
it's
full
like
body shot. He's like,
it's a Y.
weird.
It's a
Y.
Y shape.
It's a
Yeah.
Y. Yeah, it's a great way of putting it.
Yeah,
That's-
it's really weird.
It's his body is like that because of his acrobatics. That's where Jimenez is getting that body source
But
from.
it's just
The
like,
exceptional
it's
traps.
so counter to any other representation
It's-
of Nightwing that we had. And like,
Yeah, like,
realistic or
he's
not,
been
like-
slim, like
Yeah.
muscular slim. He's not been
Exactly.
slim, huge upper body. Like,
Oh,
Like,
no,
I'm thinking like-
I'm looking at that one page right now, and I agree with you. It's
Yeah.
exaggerated for sure. The rest of the
Yeah.
book, not quite so much.
Well, that's my point. It's whenever it's those full body shots, it just looks,
yeah,
like uncanny.
yeah, like this page right here where he's running.
Yeah,
that
that's the
looks
one I was
great.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
that's
fine.
cool. That's cool. But
But
Yeah.
the one where he's sitting
But, like,
there with the
this
Eskrima
is-
sticks.
yeah.
Oh,
And there's like
That's-
another one like that where he's standing next to Oracle and they're all talking about, what do we do about Bruce? And it's like that too. And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, I didn't even look at the.
It's like the inverse of like that Adam Driver still from the Last Jedi, or not the Last. I think it's the Last Jedi.
Yeah,
Where it's like he's so wide.
Yeah,
the
Ben
camera
Swallow.
look like that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the inverse of that, where it's just like instead of being swole, he's like swole, but only the top half of it, and the other is like just hollow.
yeah. It's a weird choice, but I love the rest of the art, and I can't be mad at Jorge. He's beautiful. So, yeah. Zurinar is exciting, and that's all I had. 8.25 out of 10. It'd be an 8.5, except for the issues, the problems.
Okay, I'm just gonna get mine out of the way because I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's mildly annoying that we have to talk about this again. My score is a 6.5. My major
Alright.
complaints can be tracked to a couple of things, some of which you've already touched. Number one, the voices for the family are like insane and ridiculous. Especially, I think the standout for me had to be Steph, who only got like a brief panel. But I'm like, Steph, your father was Clue Master, like someone who literally just used his resources for evil, who used his modicum of intelligence to commit crimes, and you're going around watching crimes in progress with all of the baggage that you have growing up with a villain as a father, and you're just like, nah, I'll just let it happen. Like I could not believe that could even happen. And I don't know, maybe there's some justification you can make, but that just seems so inane to me. But yeah, everyone in the family, the voices just felt so forced, like we have to make them this way to service the plot. The biggest problem, I think, the most glaring problem is, Rob, you, I think, correctly identified that Batman is without everything right now. He's lost his family. Again, you could say that's of his own making. He's lost his wealth, again, because of just life that has happened to him at this point. He's lost a lot of the things that have enabled him to be Batman with ease. And I do think that could be an interesting story. However, for those of us who are well read on the Grant Morrison Batman run, or even Batman Year One, or even just Batman in general, what is the one thing that in times of crisis or in his most dire moments, Batman always relies on? What was the I think Grant called it the first rule of Batman. Do you guys remember?
No, I actually don't.
The
I
first
had
rule of
help.
Batman is you don't talk about Batman.
Nice. No, first rule is I had help. It's
Talk about-
always been that.
Yeah.
And I'm at my lowest moment. It's like there has been someone to help me, someone I can talk to.
I
Like,
remember that page.
That's just that's how it, like from the very beginning, like when he was ready to accept death and the bat crashed in through the window and he's like, well, that's my sign, let me call Alfred so he can save my fucking life and make me a bat costume. Like I just the life of me, or for the life of me, I can't understand how in one of the worst moments of your life, you could not accept help from the family. It was literally just they're not even there to necessarily. I mean, it sounds like they're there to confront you, and again, that's why they're sort of out of character. But I think in an ideal world, they would have been there to just say like, hey, we know you've been through a lot. Let's just kind of process this, figure out a way where you can maybe handle some of these demons. And then when you're in a more calm state, and I think you could agree that you're kind of agitated right now, we can move forward. But he doesn't do any of that. He just is like, fuck you all. I'm going to do what I want to do, like a child, and then just runs off. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to talk about this too much because it feels ridiculous that they're still having the whole like, oh, Batman needs help. He can't just do it all himself. He just has to push everyone away argument in the year of our Lord 2023. But here we are. Best thing I can say is Jorge's art continues to level up. Honestly, it's like he gets better and better, which is incredible. I thought he had peaked with
Future State.
with he didn't do Future State, but
What? Yeah, he did a few, didn't he?
No. You're probably
Yes,
thinking of Dan Morgan. Yeah. You're probably thinking of Fear State.
Fear State. That
yeah,
I am
thought-
thinking
Oh,
of Fear
okay.
State.
Yeah,
Jesus. Future State. for
but
crying
yeah,
out
no,
loud.
I thought he had peaked with Failsafe, where it's just like, wow, you're like firing on all cylinders. But he just finds like new and interesting ways to just really level up his art style. So it's incredible and easily the best part. And honestly, kind of the only part of why I would still read this story. Otherwise, I would have dropped off with the primer issue that we had last week. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10. This is tiring, but
That's like a 1.5 from Brandon.
yeah, that's bad.
But before Josh, before you bring up your review and your thoughts, just one point I thought of just now that I want to say before I forget. What do y'all think are the chances? And this is a reach for me. What do y'all think are the chances that by the end of the story, or at least at some point during Zdarsky's run, we're going to see a young Terry McGinnis show up?
That's a bit of a reach. But
It is a
I don't
big
know.
reach.
I
I'm
don't
just
even
pulling
know
it out of thin air, but
I don't
like
even know where that would fit in. I mean, it would be kind of cool, but like,
it
would
could just
have
be
to
like
way down
Yeah.
the line.
yeah, I'm thinking like this is Chip is setting up the story where Bruce is starting to have his decline.
yeah.
He's getting older, he's having his old age set in, and maybe by the end of this he's going to start to come to terms with the fact that he just can't be the Batman he used to be, and maybe if the family does not completely agree with his mission, he's going to need to look for a successor. And that will tie into that big reveal at the end of the Batman Beyond series where Terry is actually Bruce's kid and was always meant to be Batman and so
Anyway,
on.
I have feelings about the reveal that he was like his clone or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
we
Not
can
a
talk
fan
about
of that.
that some other time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not
Fair
a big
enough.
fan of that. But in any case, I do actually kind of agree with you. Although, and this was like completely off the wall, but I reread the issue earlier today just because I kind of wanted to get my thoughts in order and just to see if I kind of changed since reading it last week. And I don't know. This might be kind of wild, but just hear me out.
Okay.
What if Jason became Batman? Or
I
maybe it's
am
more appropriate
down.
to say, what if Jason became a Batman? Because I was reading it again and I was like, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. But there's this line that Dick has where it's like, oh, it's weird to see you, take on the role of the responsible one or something.
Yes.
And he has this kind of new relationship with Selina where I think he's going to be more in line with her. Well, not even I think. He's more in line with her vision. And I just kind of had this thought. I was like, if Jason's like, Bruce is clearly off his rocker right now. He can't be Batman. He's not in the right headspace. But someone has to be. What if I just kind of step in and I'm working as maybe not Selina's Batman, but the Batman that would sort of allow Selina's empire to exist, but also maintain order in Gotham. Something like that.
I think that could really work, but I think it would only work if Bruce was no longer Batman.
Yeah,
Um,
which can't
we're getting
happen
close.
because we have Batman and Robin next week, which is like, I don't want to spoil it, but suffice it to say, it's like he's not really going anywhere anytime soon, unless they just completely fuck this book over.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin seem to be both connected and independent of the rest of the universe. But
Well, again, I'm not giving away any finer details, but let's just say it's very connected.
Okay.
So there's been discourse here and all over the internet. It looks like the whole Bat fam is on Selina's side, with Batman retaining Damian only. Maybe Batwoman, we don't know. She wasn't in this issue. What we do know is we've got a beaten up, broken Batman who's kind of really liking the idea of his robot hand. We've got Damian doubling down on his daddy issues with his loyalty to Bruce. And we got Bruce losing it mentally. His body's already started to fail him. We knew that. He's down one hand now. It feels like we're slowly watching him go through a breakdown. The story is very intriguing as far as I'm concerned. I figured the divide would be more equal, but actually all of it makes sense. All of the Bat family have had such monumental character progression over the years that they have moved away from the black and white way that Bruce sees the world. Some of them never even had it. Tim, Steph, Cass, Dick, Duke, they all see things, they see the world in a much better light. And their argument against Bruce is that this is what he wanted. He wanted the crime off of the streets. He wanted people to be able to walk down the streets without having to worry about the sound of a footstep coming up behind them. And he's got it. The Bat family see that. The Bat family sees that Gotham is what they always wanted it to be. Batman, it's time to pull back and chill out.
Which I call bullshit on too. Honestly, like, can we talk about this whole plot thread? I don't mean to interrupt you, but I saw a comment somewhere that was like, Selina has taught these criminals how to steal effectively and steal only from the rich. And maybe there was a line in the like battle lines or whatever the one shot we read last week was called that said like they're required to give some of it to charity.
Yeah.
But like, real talk, if you're teaching criminals how to steal, do you really think they're gonna be, they're giving it to their families? No, they're gonna be like out buying things for themselves in an incredibly selfish and conceited manner. Like, I'm not Mr. Law and Order here, but like, I'm guessing if you get a bunch of Riddler and Joker goons, teach them how to steal and say, okay, now give like 15% to charity, and then maybe you can use the rest to, like service yourself or something, or help others or whatever. I guarantee you, they probably are not going to give 15%. Probably going to give like 5% at best, if they even do. And the rest they're going to just use on whatever selfish interest they have. So really, it's just, you're stealing from the rich to spend for yourself. You're not distributing in any way. So there's this whole thing like, crime is off the streets. If anything, you're just making it a more like, I don't know,
peaceful
steel world. I mean, yeah, maybe it's peaceful. Maybe there's less like super crime, but people are still stealing and stuff. It just, this whole thing of like
streets.
Yeah, I guess, but it's just like this whole thing. I don't buy it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
There's that point where you need to ask. So Selina's training these hench people to be better criminals and work for themselves and be like thieves like her. So she's training a better class of criminal. And also, sure, they might be stealing from the rich now, but at what point does somebody think, maybe I could use these skills to rob a bank?
Yeah.
Maybe I could use these skills to mug someone.
I think that the way that the picture's been painted is that Selina isn't just teaching these people how to steal better. She's running all of the organized crime in Gotham, meaning she's top dog. There's nobody higher up the food chain than she is. None of the other henchmen, hirers, Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, none of them are active right now because they can't get the henchmen. Because the henchmen are like, No, I'm good getting fucked up by Batman. I'm good nearly dying. I'm good working for the Joker, who might just shoot me in the fucking face for no reason. Or Two-Face, who could do the same thing if the coin landed on the wrong fucking side. Instead, I'm gonna go over here where it's easy street. All I gotta do is follow Catwoman's rules and donate 10% of my haul to UNICEF, and we're all good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. Like, if I was some Riddler goo, and I'm totally gonna give my 10% to charity, definitely, wink, and then I'm gonna go out and buy myself a new Ferrari. Like, the fuck?
Uh,
I don't believe that. I'm not even saying that criminals can't reform. Obviously they can, but like, if you're talking someone who is willing to work for a homicidal clown, I just have a harder time believing that suddenly they're going to see the light of the angels, and then all of a sudden
I
they're,
don't think it's
they're
that.
I don't know. I have a really hard time believing it, and I have an even harder time believing that all of a sudden, because they've learned how to cat burgle, violent crime has just suddenly dipped, as if everyone is going to embrace this, or as if like all the other vices that would exist in Gotham would just suddenly disappear overnight. Like, I'm sure, drug crime hasn't changed because they learned how to cat burgle. Just because I know how to steal some diamonds doesn't mean that I'm gonna use that skill to, push a kilo or whatever. Like, I have such a hard time believing that because these people learned how to steal like ninjas, it suddenly makes the world a nice Eden or something. So anyway, I had to say that because like they keep talking about like, oh, it's so much more peaceful now, but I don't believe it. It's hard to believe.
Well, the proof is there out in the streets, and
Yeah.
Nightwing wouldn't lie to you. But the idea of Red Hood turning into Batman, he's the only one that I would choose other than Tim. I think Tim should definitely be the one that becomes Batman, or if he doesn't put on the costume, at least take his place. But in this avenue, I would take Red Hood as well. Year or two down the line, Batman's walking around with a cane. As far as the book, Jimenez and Morey always kill it every single time. Every page is pretty, every single page, and the story is on point. It's right where I want it to be, catching me off guard while not going too crazy. Nice. I gave it a 9.25 out of 10.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it.
Oh my god.
Josh, you said you gave it a 9.25 out of 10.
I gave it a 9.25 out of 10.
What the fuck bizarro world is this?
Yeah, I'm so confused.
I am seeing the Bat family being happy and satisfied that they got what they wanted. What their mission was, their mission is done. They got violent crime off the streets, and people don't have to worry about getting shot because they're walking down the street.
So,
because
That's definitely well. Anyway, I mean,
it's
it's
a
your
comic
opinion.
book, for Christ's sake. It ain't
I-
the New
I
York
just like-
Times.
It's I know, like I know it's a comic, and like I use that argument all the time, but they're framing this argument as if you're meant to believe that it's a rational thing, and it doesn't come across that way at all. Like, it doesn't make sense.
so I'm kind of riding the fence on this whole debate about whether the Bat family is right or not. As I usually do, ride fences. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Where I don't like honestly believe that this is the right way that the majority of the Bat family would go. Simply by some of the dialogue that Bruce had in the last issue, or in part one of the story, rather. But at the same time, you also get the feel that the two people that are 100% against it, Bruce and Damien, kind of have their own ideas here. Where Damien's whole idea is 100% hero, and he used to be an assassin, so he's taking those skills and he just like crime is evil and whatnot. So that's his whole bag, that's his whole shtick. That makes sense. but with Bruce, like it's his psyche now, and between his psyche going downhill and Zur infecting his mind, like his whole mind is basically in shock. So I could definitely see his whole perception being tainted, even more so when he saw that criminal get shot and killed last issue. Like violent crime for the common person might be down, but violent crime towards criminals is still happening. And if whether it's happening to a criminal or not, it's still violent crime. So
To me, it sounds like Batman's making fucking excuses to not take the cowl off. That's what
it's a fine line, really. That's the thing. They're skirting the fine line between whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, and this is where they're dividing like so many fucking. They're dividing even both of your opinions. Like I'm surprised that the two of you have the opinions you have. I thought it would be the opposite.
No, absolutely not. I have been begging, pleading, and demanding. I've been begging, pleading, and demanding for us to see character progression in all of the Bat family, and for about for a long fucking time.
This was definitely progression. Watching them fight again, like they haven't done that multiple times already. Oh my God, they've come so far. Hey guys, do you remember when Bruce Wayne was accused of being a murderer back in 2002, and immediately upon hearing that he's like, fuck my identity. No, but this is my point. It's like my identity is like, oh well, I guess I'm just forget Bruce Wayne. I'm not Bruce Wayne. I'm just Batman. And everyone's like, shut the hell up. You're not. You're obviously two people. And immediately they just start fighting. They lash out because they're like, this is ridiculous. That was 21 years ago.
21 years.
We're still doing this stuff. We're still doing this like
you can't. In the last 21 years, the family has fought like 6 more times.
I know, and I'm like, are you serious?
It's progression for the city of Gotham, but it's not progression for
the family. And the funny thing is, like, they actually
their motivations for what's happening is progression.
In this issue
to a certain degree. I guess
to a certain degree, but like, it's just. They never learn, and I know that's why am I even having this topic in a comic that has to go on forever, that will outlive me. But I'm just saying, like, it's ridiculous. Like, how can anyone go like, wow, look at how far they've come, and they're still doing the same thing they were doing when I was like a toddler. So I'm just wondering.
The same could be said of any other long-running comic book.
But that's my point. I'm like, how could you call it progression when they have changed so little? Like, I don't understand that at all.
Cass has changed a fucking phenomenal amount in the last 10 years.
I know
so
that.
Has Stephen Tim. Hold on. So has Stephen Tim.
Of like, oh, we literally couldn't just be like, hey, we know a lot has happened with Zur, which I know they've tried to do. Like, you can come at us if you want, but like, let's just, like, before we get into any histrionics, let's just sit here and not fight about this.
Batman wasn't interested in that. Batman came in and said, fuck you and the horse he rode in on.
Which is also a ridiculous thing too, because which goes back to my first point. Like, even with the Zur thing, I would think if I was on the brink of collapse, the first thing I would do is try and make sure that I could, fall back on my, no pun intended, fail safes to try and make sure that I don't don't lose it.
But like, Batman has already lost it. He's like, crime isn't done until there's no more crime.
He doesn't even know how far he's lost it. Like, I hate that I'm always in the middle. I agree with both of you and disagree with both of you. So, like, like, the Bat family has definitely progressed in some ways, and sure, there's the whole, like, what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh my god, the whole idea of them, like, agreeing with Catwoman one thing and Bruce disagreeing one thing, but then the family has to hunt him down. At that point, same point you're making, Josh, if Bruce should just take off the cowl, if they all agree with Catwoman, why haven't they taken off their masks? and just let Bruce be Bruce? Why do they have to go?
Like, Bruce being
If they
Bruce
want to hunt
at
them
this
down and
particular
talk to
point in
him,
time,
that's one thing. But why do they got to go in guns blazing and like
Yeah,
start to fight him?
it's
Bruce is
practically a
acting
threat.
like vigilante right now. He's not acting like Bruce. Everything needs to be annihilated. There can be no crime.
Yeah, which
Look,
you know
look,
you would
man,
think
that-
is
Dead or
probably
alive, you're
is
coming.
probably the point at which you would go, ah, shit. I really should like calm down right now, and maybe talk to someone about this. I don't
He's
know.
going
That's
through
the kind of thing
he-
that Batman would do.
Batman
I don't
was
know who this
born
character
with
is.
PTSD, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's had it since he was 8. But I mean, he's fucked in the head, and all of that's coming through now. I really don't think that there would have been any talking to Bruce about it, because he just came in flat out and said, "All of you are okay with this," and most of them said, "I don't know," and he basically said, "Well, fuck off then," and dove out the fucking window for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. I just don't know why they don't just let him be.
Because if they don't, he is the one that's going after. He blew up the fucking hideout.
I
He
just don't
showed up
understand
and
why we keep
blew-
getting these arcs about like how much Bruce has changed and how much more comfortable he is with his family and how much he's progressed, and then literally when he's like, I'm not feeling so great, he's immediately like, but I'm not going to tell anyone about it. Like, it's fine, whatever. Like, literally, I was going over 136, issue 136, the one right before this, and it's like there's a moment where Dick is like, hey, I heard about everything that happened with Zur. Like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? And he's just like, yeah, I'm fine.
like Bruce
That's your
always
partner.
would.
Like, why, after everything you've been through, and also the incredible amount of trust that you put in him, why would you not just say, like, you don't even have to talk to him about the hand. You could just say, like, yeah, it's it's been a little much, but like, I think with your support, I could probably make it through. I just would like you to check me on a couple of things. Like, it's baffling to me that we're still doing this.
That would be the common sense approach, but Bruce has never been one where actually, man, things aren't that great. Would you mind sitting down and having a 15 with me?
That's why we had all those arcs previously to
I
get
would love
us
that.
away from that point. So I can't.
This is
that's-
us moving
like,
away from that point with Batman
Yeah.
eventually retiring or
That's
being put down.
what I was saying. We could see young.
It's like, yeah. So I'm just like, you say progression, but at the same time, you're talking about things that are arguably regression. So you're making 2 points that are counterintuitive.
Wait,
Because
how is Bruce retiring regression?
No, not the regression point, but you're saying, like, you said historically, Bruce has always kind of pushed his family away.
Yes.
Okay, but we've had arcs in the past where he realized that's bad. That's not the thing that you should do, right? So progression would be seeing those moments in the past, saying, that's what I did. It didn't work out. It only made things worse. Here's what I should do, and then do that, right?
Right,
We've had
like-
multiple points where that's happened. And yet he's still doing the same thing over and over again. He's like Atlas. He's holding the sky forever,
I've
just
been
complaining about the fact that he's still doing it. So I don't know.
I've been
I
a Batman
understand
fan since my very first comic book, and that is just Batman. Now the progression that I'm talking about is only, and I mean only, with the Bat family, not Batman himself. Everyone else over the last 10 years has evolved into much, much better characters, with the exception of Nightwing, he was there quite a while ago. But everybody else has really evolved, with the exception of, let's say, Duke, because he hasn't really had any time to shine. But
Yeah.
But
He doesn't even speak. Which is kind of dumb.
yeah. But well, on the same time, we also believe that not everybody needs to have a fucking speech bubble.
But it'd be nice if Duke could get at least one word in now and then.
I ain't gonna argue that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the progression I'm talking about is with the Bat family and everything that Batman himself has produced, but Batman himself has not done anything remotely close to that. And I think that the progression that we have seen with the Bat Family members, is
Like,
all
I don't know,
designed to slowly work toward.
I don't agree
Bruce
with
retiring.
you, because we've had multiple arcs in the past that have literally been the antithesis of what you just said, which is that like Batman has a tendency to be very stubborn, but is frequently and constantly learning from that mistake. Which, yes, I know you can't have permanent progression; you need it for the sake of drama. But I don't know. I'm waiting for Rob to come back, but I don't want to just like sit here in silence. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like we could argue about this all day, but for the life of me, I can't understand that. At the very least, this is one time where I feel slightly vindicated by the internet, because I normally don't read reviews, but I will say that seeing the internet come together and rally against how cosmically stupid this was slightly validating. So,
Hey, don't bring Cosmic into this.
Cosmically. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I get to say, because we could.
Yeah, we could go all night with this, but
Yeah, and I'd rather talk about something else.
yeah, we have a whole bonus show.
Our next book is much more exciting to talk about to me.
Yes.
I'm siding with all of Batman Juniors, and Brandon is siding with Batman, and I never once in a million years
I would side
ever
with the Bat
expect
Family, but
that
they're
to
not
happen.
here. I didn't read them in this issue. I just read a bunch of imposters, clones from cabinets, I assume.
Oh man.
Oh man,
And
he
if the
sounds
Bat
like
Family
me.
were in this issue, I would have totally been with them, but they weren't here. So,
Holy shit. Is this Brandon talking about Batman, or is this me talking about Superman?
I don't know. We've been in a weird split.
All right, well, I guess that is it. You guys want to move on to the top 3 and favorite moment?
I will skip my top 3 because all 3 of my top 3 books, spoiler alert, are in the bonus show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I did mine up separately. Number 3 went Steelworks. Number 4, 2 went Ivy 14, and 1 went Batman 137. My favorite moment from the first part of the show, this regular show, the brief exchange between Steel and Lana when the break-in happens. Steel says, "Stay here." Lana says, "What did you say?" Steel says, "I said, come on, let's go." Also, just noteworthy, it feels like DC is giving us a PSA this week. Don't trust the janitor. We've had 2 cleaning crews break in to steal shit. Just in these issues.
Where was the
Steelworks
second?
and Batman.
Oh yeah, that opening sequence. Yeah,
Yep. Don't
Yeah.
trust the janitors, folks.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's out there seen Scrubs, you know you can't trust janitor.
I've never
I
seen
got-
Scrubs. but
You gotta
I-
watch Scrubs. You get through the first
Scrubs.
season,
Yeah.
and it's so much better. I gotta do that. I guess I can split up between the show because I can make up top 3 for the books we did today. Number 3, City Boy. Number 2, Batman. Number 1, Poison Ivy. Favorite moment for me though was Damian punching Jason so hard his mask shattered. It was just so fucking cool.
All right, well, I guess that is it. That is the
Brandon.
show. Oh wait,
Hang on.
Brandon. Brandon's
yeah,
got some.
I most of my top 3 are also ones from the bonus show.
That makes sense.
So
I agree.
if I had to choose, I'd probably put Steelworks at 3, City Boy at 2, and Shazam at 1 for this particular one. With my favorite one probably just being the double page spread of Shazam flying the bus into Gorilla City. That's just like,
Yeah.
That's some classic.
And he's like, he's
Shazam
so
art,
excited.
man.
He's like, how could you? I mean, I know everything's going on, but like, it's a Gorilla City. Like, how are you not going to want to see that? When are you ever going to get to see a Gorilla City again?
Exactly.
Like, that was so wonderfully childlike.
Well, then,
All right.
okay, there we go. That is the show. We're going to get out of here, so you have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.